Song of Lawino by Okot Tek, narrated by Adamu Abdul-Majid. Chapter 1 to Chapter 5. Song of Lawino. Chapter 1. My husband's tongue is bitter. Husband, you now despise me. You treat me with spite, and say I have inherited the stupidity of my aunt. Son of the chief, now you compare me with the rubbish in the rubbish pit. You say you no longer want me because I like the things left behind in the deserted homestead. You insult me. You laugh at me. You say I do not know the letter A because I have not been to school and I have not been baptized. You compare me with a little dog, a puppy. My friend, age mate of my brother, take care. Take care of your tongue. Be careful what your lips say. First take a deep look. Brother, you are now a man. You are not a dead fruit. To behave like a child does not befit you. Listen, Oko. You are the son of a chief. Leave foolish behavior to the little children. It is not right that you should be laughed at in a song. Songs about you should be songs of praise. Stop despising people as if you were a little foolish man. Stop treating people like saltless ash. Become barren of insult and stupidity. Who has ever uprooted a pumpkin? My clansmen, I cry. Listen to my voice. The insults of my man are painful beyond bearing. My husband abuses me together with my parents. He says terrible things about my mother, and I am so ashamed. He abuses me in English, and he is so arrogant. He says I am rubbish. He no longer wants me. In cruel jokes, he laughs at me. He says I am primitive because I cannot play the guitar. He says my eyes are dead, and I cannot read. He says my ears are blocked, and I cannot hear a single foreign word, that I cannot count the coins. He says I am like sheep, the fool. Okot treats me as if I am no longer a person. He says I am silly, like the uju insect that sits on the beer spot. My husband treats me roughly. The insults. Words cut more painful than sticks. He says my mother is a witch, that my clansmen are fools because they eat rats. He says we are all kafirs. We do not know the ways of God. We sit in deep darkness and do not know the gospel. He says my mother hides her charms in her necklace and that we are all sorcerers. My husband's tongue is bitter like the roots of Iono lily. It is hot like the pennies of the bee, like the sting of the calang. Okot's tongue is fierce like the arrow of the scorpion, deadly like the spear of the buffalo hornet. It is ferocious like the poison of a barren woman, and corrosive like the juice of the gourd. My husband pours corn on black people. He behaves like a hen that is its own egg, a hen that should be imprisoned under a basket. His eyes grow large, dark black eyes. Okot's eyes remember those of Nile perch. He becomes fierce like a lioness with calves. He begins to behave like a mad hyena. He says black people are primitive, and their ways are utterly harmful. Their dances are mortal sins. They are arrogant, poor, and diseased. Okot says he's a modern man, a progressive and civilized man. He says he has read extensively and widely, and he can no longer live with a thing like me. We cannot distinguish between good and bad. He says I am just a village woman. I am of the old type and no longer attractive. He says I am blocking his progress. My head, he says, is as big as that of an elephant, but it is only bones. There is no brain in it. He says I am only wasting his time. The Song of Lawino, Chapter 2. The woman with whom I share my husband. The woman with whom I share my husband. Okot rejects the old type. He is in love with a modern woman. He is in love with a beautiful girl who speaks English. But only recently, we will sit close together, touching each other. Only recently I'll play on my bow harp, singing praises to my beloved. Only recently he promised that he trusted me completely. I used to admire him speaking in English. Okot is no longer in love with the old type. He is in love with a modern girl. The name of the beautiful one is Clementine. Brother, you should see Clementine. The beautiful one aspires to look like a white woman. Her lips are red like glowing coal. She resembles the wild cat that has dipped its mouth in blood. Her mouth is like royals. It looks like an open ulcer, like the mouth of a field. Tina dabs powder on her face, and it looks so pale. She resembles a wizard getting ready for the midnight dance. She does the ash dirt all over her face, and when little sweat begins to appear on her body, she looks like the guinea fowl. The smell of carbolic soap makes me sick, and the smell of powder provokes a ghost in my head. It is then necessary to fetch a goat from my mother's brother. The sacrifice over the ghost dance drum must sound, the ghost be laid, and my peace restored. I do not like dusting myself with powder. The thing is good for pink skin because it is already pale. But when a black woman has used it, she looks as if she has dysentery. Tina looks sickly, and she is slow moving. She is a piteous sight. Some medicines have eaten up Tina's face. The skin of her face is gone, and it is all raw and red. The face of the beautiful one is tender like the skin of a newly born baby, and she believes that this is beauty because it resembles the face of a white woman. Her body resembles the ugly coat of the hyena. Her neck and arms have real human skins. She looks as if she has been struck by lightning, or bends like the Congoni in a fire hand. She does the ash dirt all over her face, and when little sweat begins to appear on her body, she looks like the guinea fowl. And her lips look like bleeding. Her hair is long. Her head is huge, like that of an owl. She looks like a witch, like someone who has lost her head and should be taken to the clan shrine. Her neck is rope-like, thin, long and skinny, and her face is sickly pale. Forgive me, brother. Do not think I am insulting the woman with whom I share my husband. Do not think my tongue is being sharpened by jealousy. It is the sight of Tina that provokes sympathy from my heart. I do not deny I am a little jealous. It is no good lying. We all suffer a little jealousy. It catches you unawares, like the ghost that brings fever. It surprises people like air tremors. But when you see the beautiful woman with whom I share my husband, you feel a little pity for her. Her breasts are completely shriveled up. They are all folded dry skin. They have made nests of cotton wool, and she holds the bits of cowhide in the nest and calls them breasts. Oh, my clansmen, how aged modern women pretend to be young girls. They mold the tip of cotton nest so that they are sharp, and with this they prick the chest of their men, and the men believe they are holding the waist of young girls that have just shot up. The modern ties sleep with their nest tied firmly on their chest. The empty bags on her chest are completely flattened, dried. Perhaps she has aborted many. Perhaps she has thrown the twins in the pit latrine. Is it the vengeance ghost of the many smashed eggs that have captured her head? How young is this age mate of my mother? The woman with whom I share my husband walks as if her shadow has been captured. You can never hear her footsteps. She looks as if she has been ill for a long time. Actually, she is starving. She does not eat. She says she fears getting fat. that a doctor has prevented her from eating. She says a beautiful woman must be slim like a white woman. And when she walks, you hear the bones rattling. Her waist resembles that of the hornet. The beautiful one is dead dry like a stump. She is meatless, like a shell of a dry riverbed. But my husband despises me. He laughs at me. He says he is too good to be my husband. Uncle says he is not the age mate of my grandfather to live with someone like me, who has not been to school. He speaks with arrogance. Uncle is bold. He says these things in broad daylight. He says there's no difference between me and my grandmother, who covers herself with animal skins. I am not unfair to my husband. I do not complain because he wants another woman, whether she is young or aged. Who has ever prevented men from wanting women? Who has discovered a medicine for thirst? The medicines for hunger and anger and enmity. Who has discovered them? In the dry season, the sun shines, and rain falls in the wet season. Women hunt for men, and men want women. When I have another woman with whom I share my husband, I am glad. A woman who is jealous of another, with whom she shares a man, is jealous because she is slow, lazy, and shy. Because she is cold, weak, clumsy. The competition for a man's love is fought at the cooking place when he returns from the field or from the hunt. You win him with a hot bath or sour porridge. The wife who brings her meal first, whose food is good to eat, whose dish is hot, whose face is bright, and whose heart is clean, and whose eyes are dark like the shadow. The wife who jokes freely, who eats in the open, not in the bedroom. One who is not dull like the stale beer. Such is the woman who becomes the hairdress keeper. I do not block my husband's path from his new wife. If he likes, let him build her an iron-roofed house on a hill. I do not complain. My grass-thatched house is enough for me. I am not angry with the woman with whom I share my husband. I do not fear to compete with her. All I ask is that my husband should stop the insults. My husband should refrain from heaping abuses on my head. He should stop being half crazy and saying horrible things about my mother. Listen, uncle, my old friend, the ways of your ancestors are good. Their customs are solid and not hollow. They are not thin, not easily breakable. They cannot be blown away by the winds because their roots reach deep into the soil. I do not understand the ways of foreigners, but I do not despise their customs. Why should you despise yours? Listen, my husband, you are the son of a chief. The pumpkin in the old homestead must not be uprooted. Song of Lawino, Chapter 3. I do not know the dances of white people. It is true I am ignorant to the dances of foreigners, and how they dress, I do not know. There are games I cannot play. I only know the dances of our people. I cannot dance the ramba. My mother taught me the beautiful dance of Akuli. I do not know the dances of white people. I will not deceive you. I cannot dance the samba. You once saw me on the Ora dance, the dance of youth, the dance of our people. When the drums are throbbing and the black youths have raised much dust, you dance with vigor and health. You dance naughtily with pride. You dance with spirit. You compete. You insult. You provoke. You challenge all. And the eyes of the young men become red. The son of a man and the daughter of a woman shine forth in the arena. Slave boys and girls dance differently from true borns. You dance with confidence, and you sing provocative songs, insulting and abusive songs, songs of praise, sad songs of broken love, songs about shortage of cattle. Most of the songs make someone angry. You do not come to the arena drunk, But when someone hits you, you take up the challenge as a man. When a girl knocks you, you strike back. A man's manliness is seen in the arena. No one touches another's testicles. A girl whose waist is stiff is a clumsy girl. That is a lazy girl who fears the grinding Kabir millet. You adorn yourself in Akoli costumes. You tie rakukuku rattles or bells on your legs. You wear bead skirts or string skirts or a tiny piece of cloth and a 10-string bead around your waist, bangles on your arms, and giraffe tail necklaces on your tall neck. A young man wears Odai and Lakumi. He puts his lover's beads on his neck, beautiful white feathers on his head. He blows his horn, and other young men feel jealous of him. It is dance in broad daylight in the open. You cannot hide anything. Bad stomachs that have swollen up, skin diseases on the buttocks, smallpox that have just emerged, and large ones full of boiling milk are clearly seen in the arena. Breasts that are tired and are about to fall, weak and bony chests of weaklings, strong lion chests, large scars on the thighs, beautiful tattoos below the belly button, tattoos that have become sores on the chest. All parts of the body are shown in the arena. Health and liveliness are shown in the arena. When the daughter of the bull enters the arena, she does not stand there like stale beer that does not sell. She jumps here and jumps there. When you touch her, she says, "Don't touch me." The tattoos on her chest are like palm fruits. The tattoos on her back are like stars on a black night. Her eyes sparkles like the fireflies. Her breasts are ripe like the full moon. When the age mate of her brother sees them, when by accident the eyes of the lover falls on her breast, do you think the young man sleeps? Do you know what fire eats him inside? It is true, Uncle. I cannot dance the ballroom dance. Being held so tightly, I feel ashamed. Being held so tightly in public, I cannot do it. It looks shameful to me. They come to dance there drunk. They drink white men's drinks as well as wagari. They close their eyes and they do not sing as they dance. They dance silently like wizards. Each man has a woman, although she is not his wife. They dance inside a house and there is no lights. Shamelessly, they hold each other tightly. Tightly, they cannot breathe. Women lie on the chest of men. They break the chest of men with their breasts. They break the chest of their men with the cotton nets on their chest. You kiss her on the cheek as white people do. You kiss her open sore lips as white people do. You suck slimy saliva from each other's mouth as white people do. And the lips of men become bloody with blood dripping from the red-hot lips. Their teeth look as if they have been boxed in the mouth. Women throw their arms around the necks of their partners and put their cheeks on the cheeks of their men. Men hold the waist of women tightly, tightly, and as they dance, knees touch knees. And when the music has stopped, men put their hands in their trousers pockets. There is no respect for relatives. Girls hold their fathers. Boys hold their sisters close. They dance even with their mothers. Modern girls are fierce like Labija, the jock of Aleru. That captures even the heads of nephews. They coil around their nephews and lie on the chest of their uncles and prick the chest of their brothers with their breasts. And they dress like white men, as if they are in the white man's country. At the height of the hot season, the progressive and civilized ones put on black suits and woolen socks from Europe, long underpants and woolen vests, white shirts. They wear dark glasses and neckties from Europe. Their waterlogged still drip like tears of the ketuba tree after a heavy storm. You smoke cigar like white men. Women smoke cigarette like white women and sip some poisons from the glasses. It is hot inside the house. It is hot inside a cave, like inside a hyena's den. And the women move like fish that have been poisoned. They stagger. They fall face flat upwards, like fish that are dead drunk with logoro or oba. like small fish out of water, the smoke of tobacco, the smoke of cigarettes and the cigarettes, and the smoke of the candles used for counting coins. The smoke in the house is like cumulus clouds. The evaporating vapor from the many drinks, the steaming sweat from the hot baths of numerous people, the coughs and saliva, squirted by squeezing drunken sick, the many brands of winds broken, humid winds broken by men and women, producing types of smell, the dust, the evaporating piss, the air is heavy like the hammer. The stench from the urinal is thick. It hits your nose like a blow, like a horn of a bull rhino. You choke. Your throat pains sharply. You get out and shout a curse. You meet a big woman. She staggers towards you and leans on the wall. And before she has untied her dress, she is already pissing. She forces out urine as if she has syphilis. The stench from the latrine knocks you down from afar. You enter. It is as if you have entered into a lion's mouth. The smell of jize and the smell of dung rise to the roof. The entire roof is covered with human dung. All the tribes of human dung, dry dung and dysentery, old dung and fresh dung, young ones that are still steaming, short thick dung sitting like hills, snake-like dungs coiled up like pythons, little ones just squatting there, big ones lying on their side like tree trunks. Some dungs are red like okra, others are yellow like the ripe mango, like inside a ripe pawpaw. Others are black like soil, like the soil we use for smearing the floor. Some dungs are of mixed colors. Vomit and urine flows by, and on the walls they clean their anus. And there are writings on the walls, cut with knives. My husband laughs at me because I cannot dance the white man's dances. He despises Okoli dances. He nurses stupid ideas that the dances of his people are sinful, that they are mortal sins. I am completely ignorant of the dances of the foreigners, and I do not like it. Holding each other tightly in public, I cannot. I am ashamed. Dancing without a song, dancing silently like wizards, without respect, drunk. If someone tries to force me to dance this dance, I feel like hanging myself feet first. I wish I could become a meteorite, and I will know where to fall. Song of Lawino, Chapter 4. My name blew like a horn among the Paira. I was made chief of girls because I was lively. I was bright. I was not clumsy or untidy. I was not dull. I was not heavy and slow. I did not grow up a fool. I am not cold. I am not shy. My skin is smooth. It shines smoothly in the moonlight. When okot was wooing me, my breasts were erect, and they shook as I walked briskly. And as I walked, I threw my long neck this way and that way, like the flower of the Yono lily waving in a gentle breeze. And my brothers called me Iyajang, for my breast shook and beckoned the cattle, and they sang silently. Father, prepare the crowd. The cattle are coming. I was the leader of the girls, and my name blew like a horn among the Paira, and I was on my bow harp and praised my love. Okot, my husband, my friend, what are you talking? You saw me when I was young, in my mother's house. This man crawled on the floor, the son of the bull, who wait for me with tears like a hungry child whose mother has stayed long in the Simpson field. Every night he came to my father's homestead. He never missed one night, even after he had been beaten by my brothers. You loved my giraffe-tailed bangles. My father bought them for me from the hills in the east. The roof of my mother's house was beautifully laced with elephant grass. My father belted it with a scale of diakoli. You admire my sister's colorful 10-string lion beads. My mother threaded them and arranged them with care. You trembled when you saw the tattoos on my breast and the tattoos below my belly button, and you were very fond of the gap in my teeth. My man, what are you talking? My clan's people, I ask you, what has become of my husband? Is he suffering from boils? Is it ripe now? Should they try to open it so that the pus may flow out? I was the chief of youth because of my good manners, because my waist was soft. I sang sweetly when I was grinding millet or on the way to the well. Nobody's voice was sweeter than mine. And in the arena, I sang the solos loud and clear, like the Ogilo bird at sunset. Now, Uncle says, I am a mere dog, a puppy, a little puppy suffering from skin diseases. Uncle says he does not love me anymore because I cannot play the guitar and I do not like their stupid dance, because I despise the song they play at the ballroom dance and I do not follow the steps of foreign songs on the gramophone records, and I cannot tune the radio because I do not hear Swahili or Luganda. What is all this? My husband refuses to listen to me. He refuses to give me a chance. My husband has blocked up my path completely. He has put up a roadblock, but has not told me why. He just shouts like fly settles on top of excrement when disturbed. My husband says he no longer wants a woman with a gap in her teeth. He is in love with a woman whose teeth fill her mouth completely, like the teeth of war captives and slaves. Like beggars, you take up the white man's adornment. Like slaves or war captives, you take up the white man's ways. Didn't the Akoli have adornments? Didn't black people have their ways? Like drunken men, you stagger to white men's games. You stagger to white men's amusements. Is Lawala not a game? Is Kuro not a game? Didn't your people have amusement? Like halfways, you turn to white men's dances. You turn to musical instruments of foreigners, as if you have no dancers, as if you have no instruments, and you cannot sing one song. You cannot sing a solo song in the arena. You cannot beat the rhythm of the half gods, or shake the rattle gods, or the rhythm of the orak dance, and there is not a single border song that you can dance. You do not play the drum, or do the mock fight at the funeral dance, or at the war dance. You cannot wield the shield. And so you turn to the dances of white people. Ignorance and shame provoke you to turn to foreign things. Perhaps you are covering up your bony hips and chest, and the light scar on your thighs, and the scabies on your buttocks. You are hiding under the blanket suit your sick stomach that has swollen up like that of a pregnant goat, and the dark glasses shielding the rotten skin around your eyes from the houseflies and cover up the husk of the exploded eyeballs. Song of Lawino, Chapter 5. My husband tells me I have no ideas of modern beauty. He says I have stuck to old-fashioned hairstyles. He says I am stupid and very backward, that my hairstyle makes him sick because I am dirty. It is true I cannot do my hair as white women do. Listen, my father comes from Paira. My mother is a woman of Cork. I am a true Akoli. I am not a half-caste. I am not a slave girl. My father was not brought home with a spear. My mother was not exchanged for a basket of millet. Ask me what beauty is to the Akoli, and I will tell you. I will show it to you, if you give me a chance. You once saw me. You saw my hairstyle. You admired it, and the boys loved it. At the arena, boys surrounded me and fought for me. My mother taught me the Akoli hair fashions, which fits the kind of hair of the Okoli and the occasion. Listen, ostrich plumes differ from chicken feathers. A monkey's tail is different from that of a giraffe. The crocodile's skin is not like the guinea fowl's, and the hippo is naked and hairless. The hair of the Akoli is different from that of the Arabs. The Indian's hair resembles the tail of the horse. It's like scissor strange and needs to be cut with scissors. It is black and is different from that of the white woman. A white woman's hair is soft like silk. It is light and brownish, like that of the brown monkey, and is very different from mine. A black woman's hair is thick and curly. It is true, ringworms sometimes eat up a little girl's hair, and this is terrible. But when hot porridge is put on the head, and the dance is held under the sausage fruit tree, and the youth have sung you the ringworm, who is eating Duca's hair? Here is your porridge. Then the girl's hair begins to grow again, and the girl is pleased. No one, except wizards and women who poison others, leave their hair untrimmed. And men do not leave their chin to grow bushy like the lion's neck, like the chin of a billy goat, so that they look like wild beasts. They put hot ash on the hair below the belly button and pluck it up, and they pluck the hair on their face and the hair of the armpits. When death has occurred, women leave their hair uncombed. They remove all beads and necklaces because they are mourning, because of sorrows. The woman who adores herself when others are wailing is the killer. She comes to the funeral to congratulate herself. When you go to dance, you adorn yourself for the dance. If your string skirt is ochre red, you do your hair with ochre, and you smear your body with red oil, and you are beautifully red all over. If you put on a black string skirt, you do your hair with akuku, and your body shines with simsim oil, and the tattoos on your chest and on your back glitter in the evening sun, and the healthy sweat of your bosom is like the glassy fruit of okuga. Young girls whose breasts are just emerging smear shea butter on their bodies. The beautiful oil from labruomo, the aroma is wonderful, and their white teeth sparkle as they sing and dance fast among the dancers like small fish in a shallow stream. Butters from cow's milk or the fat from edible rat is cooked together with lakuru or atika. You smear it on your body today, and the aroma will last until the next day. And when you balance your head, a beautiful water pot, or a new basket, or a long neck jar full of honey, your long neck resembles the alwiri spear. And as you walk along the path on both sides, the obeah grasses are flowering, and the pollock blossoms and the wild white lilies are shouting silently to the bees and butterflies. And the fragrance of the ripe wild berries hook the insects and little birds, and the fishermen hook the fish and pull them up mercilessly. When the young men from surrounding villages and from across many streams, they come from beyond the hills and wide plains, they surround you and bite off their ears like jackals. And when you go to the well or into the freshly hunted woodlands to collect the red osiyu or to cut the odugu shrub, you find them lurking in the shades like the leopardess with calves. Uncle tells me that I am dirty. He says shea butter causes skin diseases. He says okoli adornments are old-fashioned and unhealthy. He says I soil his white shirt when I touch him. My husband treats me as if I'm suffering from don't touch me disease. He says that I make his bed sheets dirty and his bed smelly. Okol says I look extremely ugly when I am fully adorned for the dance. When I walk past my husband, he hisses like a wounded Ororo snake, choking with vengeance. He has vowed that he will never touch my hands again. My husband is in love with Tina, the woman with the large head. Uncle dies with Clementine. Uncle never sleeps with the beautiful one who has red. When the beautiful one with whom I share my husband returns from cooking her hair, she resembles a chicken that has fallen into a pond. Her hair looks like the python's discarded skin. They cook their hair with hot iron and pull it hard so it may grow long. Then they rub the hair on woolen pans like a billy goat brought for the sacrifice, struggling to free itself. They fry their hair in boiling oil as if they were locusts, and their hair sizzles. It cries aloud in sharp pain as it is pulled and stretched, and the vigorous and healthy hair, curly, springy, and thick, that glistens in the sunshine, is left listless and dead, like the elephant grass, scorched brown by the fierce February sun. It lies lifeless, like the sad and dying banana leaves, on a hot and windless afternoon. The beautiful woman with whom I share my husband smears black shoe polish on her hair to blacken it, to make it shine. She washes her hair with black ink, but the thick undergrowth rejects the shoe polish and the ink, and it remains untouched, yellowish, grayish, like the hair of the grey monkey. There is so much water in my husband's house, cold water and hot water. You twist a cross-like handle, and water gushes out, hot and steaming, like the urine of the elephant. You twist another cross-like handle. It is cold water, clean like the fresh waters from the streams of Latuturu Hills. But the woman with whom I share my husband does not wash her head. The head of the beautiful one smells like rats that have fallen into a fireplace, and she uses powerful perfumes to overcome the strange smell, and they treat a pregnant coffin, and the different smells wrestle with one another, and the smells of the shoe polish mingles with them. Clementine has many handkerchiefs, beautiful handkerchiefs of many colors. She ties one on her head, and it covers half the rod inside. She ties the knots on her forehead, and arranges the head with much care, so that it covers her ears, as well as the bold forehead that jumps sparks when lightning has sparked, and hurls back sunlight, more powerful than a mirror. Sometimes she wears the hair of some dead woman, of some white woman, who died long ago, and she goes with it to dance. What witchcraft! Shamelessly, she dances, holding the shoulders of my husband, the hair of a dead woman on her head, the body of the dead woman, decaying in the tomb. One night, the ghost of the dead woman pulled away her hair from the head of the wizard, and the beautiful one fell down and shook with shame, and shook as if the angry ghost of the white woman had entered her head. Okot, my friend, look at my skin. It is smooth and black, and my boyfriend who plays the nanga sings praises to it. I am proud of the hair with which I was born, and so no white woman wishes to do her hair like mine, because she is proud of her hair with which she was born. I have no wish to look like a white woman. No leopard changes into a hyena, and the crested crane will hate to be changed into a bold-headed, dung-eating vulture. The long-necked and graceful giraffe cannot become a monkey. Let no one approach the pumpkin